application. And it is responsible for converting, translating to appropriate SQL understanding, and it will send to the respective DB path. And the work will happen accordingly. And as I said, we are going to use the last driver, which is type 4 driver. No explicit, it will be there along with your application. The type of driver which we are going to use it in all our application, and it in uses 4 native protocol driver. Listen carefully. It is a Java driver that interacts with database directly using vendor specific network protocol. So my driver will communicate with my Java, as well as my driver will communicate with my backend. It can be used without installing any vendor specific library. If I have my library, that is enough. I don't want to go for explicit installation of any other library. As of now, each database is having type 4 drivers. So we are going to use type 4 drivers. So quick introduction about JDBC, then we'll get into programming. We will use database driver and JDBC API while developing Java application to retrieve, store, whatever the functionality you want to do it in database. So as I said, we should have this driver. We should have this jar file, and via this jar file, I can communicate with my database. And in my Java programming will communicate with my database via my driver with the help of JDBC API. Again, I'm repeating, if you don't get confused when there is a term API. Being a Java programmer, you should know what is API. API is not something new. It is a collection of classes and interfaces. And what is classes? Classes consist of methods. We are going to introduce with new package, new classes and interfaces and methods for JDBC connection. And whatever the functionality today we are going to use, it is available in java.sql and also advanced package, javax.extended package.sql. Either you can use java.sql or javax.sql. So you need to perform various actions. Step number 1, establish a connection. Send the request to database. If you want to store the data, if you want to retrieve the data, retrieve it. If you want to update the data, do it. So once JDBC API is done, whatever the functionality we want to perform, we can able to perform it. So one last slide under your JDBC theory. Listen carefully. So I used to say whatever in theory we will implement in practical. Whatever there in this slide, same thing I'm going to use it in my Java program. So listen carefully. Classes and interfaces which are commonly used with JDBC API are, the first class is driver manager class. Driver manager class is used to load the driver. In my program, in my Java application, in order to load the driver, I will use driver manager class. And in order to represent a database driver, we will use something called as driver interface. So these two are necessary to implement and interact with the driver. And in order to establish a connection between Java application and database, we will use connection interface. With what database, what username, with all the security mechanism, in order to establish a connection, we will use connection interface. The third one is statement interface. I may execute insert query. I may execute delete query. I may execute update query. Irrespective of any query, my query will be executed in my front end with the help of statement interface. So if I insert, data will be inserted. If I delete, data will be deleted. Whereas if I use select query from my database, a table with 10 rows or 20 nodes needs to be retrieved. And the data will be retrieved from my server, database server, and it can be loaded in my front end with the help of result set interface. It represents the information retrieved from database. I don't know how many of you remember IO package and SQL package comes under checked exception. Mandatory in this session, in today, tomorrow, from Monday, Tuesday, whenever if you are using SQL package, mandatory you need to handle SQL exception. Don't forget to handle either try catch or throws. Is that clear? Shall we have a small demo on this?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to keep the same slide. With the slide, I'm going to write a simple program. Let me start with simple program. So then we will get into a complex program with all the operation. So I'm leaving to you. So tell me what operation we can try. I'll try all the operation for simple program. What did I said? Front end will be my Java application. And backend will be my MySQL DB. So in order to connect with my front end and backend, guys, listen, we will use JDBC coding. And if you get a confused on API, let me put it as coding. And we will use the respective driver. So if you take Java and if you take MySQL, so I can perform insert, delete, or update. That is, data will pass from Java to MySQL. Whereas the other one, what query? Select query. So if I execute select query, what is happening? The data will be retrieved from MySQL and it will be displayed on my Java. So I'm leaving to you what query we can try first. So let me call Deepesh. Deepesh, I'm leaving to you. You decide. I will try all the 4 query, but for a simple demo, just to have a start on JDBC, what query we can try? Make it fast. Deepesh, you there?
Yes, ma'am.
You tell me what query I can try.
Insert.
All right. So let us try insert query. That is, I'll be giving all my data in front-end Java and the data will be inserted in my backend MySQL. Will it be fine, guys?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So before that, ensure that your database and table is ready. So I'll refresh, not wave 14. I'll choose wave 26. So what table we can insert? Shall I take customer table?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
yesterday I created customer table. You use any table, but when you are go for the proper primary key, foreign key, constraint, everything. Else it will not insert. Under my wave 26 database, I'm going to insert in customer. Already I have a customer table with 4 records. Let us insert 5th, 6th, whatever the record. Again, I'm repeating, wave 26 is my database. Under that, my table name is customer. So we should know this being when you start with. I'll go for new application. Please listen. If you want, you can make a note of steps. Don't write a code, I'll share. But steps you can write. So there will be an option, create project from template or create a project with source, main. Then you will, if you create, it will create a project with your main method and all the classes. If you miss this step, you will not get any default package. How many days you will have this confusion? When you miss this step, you will not have any package and you will not end up with a project with a class. Hello, ma'am. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Audit.
Good morning. Okay, sorry, Sangeeta, did I disturb you in some?
No problem. The thing is, I completed a theory and I'm about to start with the practical. So no, there is no interruption.
So can you just take me through and explain to me what all have you completed till now? Course 6, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Today, I'm going to complete the last topic of course 6.
Yeah.
And today evening, I'll be rolling out the project so that they can they can utilize this weekend for completing their project, and the same presentation we can have it on Monday afternoon, and we'll continue on Tuesday also. This is what my plan
Project,
for
you're
course
talking
6.
about the course 6.
I'm
mini
talking
project.
about course 6 mini project.
Right. Okay. And what is the status of course 4, course 5 mini project?